Hey everybody, this is Alma coming to you from Long Beach, California. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd of the year 2020, and this is a special edition of my FlossTube channel. I do want to welcome you all. Thank you very much to all of you that have been supporting me since I've started doing my videos. I always enjoy reading your comments and just hearing your feedback is always good. So I do appreciate all of my current subscribers, and I do want to welcome any first-time viewers that are maybe just finding my channel for the first time. I do hope that you like what you see, since it's definitely going to be a lot this time around. Normally I will record my videos during the weekend, usually on a Saturday, and I'll show you what I've been working on during that week. But today I've decided that I wanted to do a WIP parade. I intended to do it at the end of June to mark, the halfway point of the year, but I also knew that I was going to be starting a ton of things pretty much immediately afterwards. So I didn't want to do that. I just decided, you know what, I'll just do the WIP parade later so I can include all those new starts. If you watched the first my first video, which was also a WIP parade, then I'm pretty much going to go through the same thing. I'll try to go a little bit faster because there's quite a bit to show. If I counted correctly, I have 35 projects on the go right now, so I'll try to go fast. But what I essentially want to do, I'm gonna film it in such a way that if you did watch that first parade, and if you were to skip all of my videos and watch this second parade, then you won't have missed a thing. I'll go ahead and show all of the same projects that I showed on the first one, including the things that I have finished since, just for the sake of saying, here it is, I finished it, moving on. But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a longer video, so I do invite you to go ahead and settle in, grab your cup of coffee, your cup of tea, or your own stitching if you'd rather stitch while I show you everything. And yeah, let's get started. I hope this goes off without a hitch. Filming the first, because I film my videos in English and Spanish, and filming the Spanish one was just a pain. I kept getting, my storage was full. It was just all over the place. Hopefully this one I can just power through. It's not this, it's this. All right, let's get started. The first WIP that I showed on the first parade is a project that I have since finished. It was my oldest WIP at the time. I started this in 2013, May of 2013, and I only just finished it earlier this month, July 2020. And this is my Thomas Kincaid kit by MCG Textiles, Tinkerbell and Peter Pan Fly to Neverland. And I used everything that came with the kit, the floss and the fabric. It was very, as much as I love the final project, it was very tedious to do, since there was a lot of detail. The City of London, Big Ben Tower had a lot of detail in it as well. There was also a lot of sparklies involved to give Tink her little fairy dust, and it also added a lot of more. It's kind of hard to tell in the video, but Big Ben does have a ton of gold in it as well. But yeah, I think in the beginning of the year when I first started filming, I think I had only started this top area, so this has gotten done in the last 7 months. Because I was like, I'm done. I want this finished. I can't believe that it's been so long. So yeah, since I have finished that one, the next oldest WIP that I have is my Harry Potter WIP. This is Hogwarts Castle at Night, and this is by the Stitching Girl on Etsy. This particular pattern is no longer available in her Etsy shop. since I did buy it several years ago. I started this in June of 2018, and this is what I've gotten so far. I originally had dreams of finishing it this year, but it's not gonna happen. The pattern has over 122,000 stitches, and so far I only have 69,000. So I adapted my goal to 80,000, which is still a bit to go. I intend to finish all the black first, so I can just be rid of it. And it's still quite a bit to do. 30,000 stitches, or not 30,000, 10,000, almost 11,000 stitches. But who knows? We'll see. It does go by fast when I only work on the black, so fingers crossed I can get some progress done on that one. The next project that I started 2 months later, on August of 2018. It was actually more towards the end of August. I have the date here as August 30th. This is Mini 1 by Zindy Nielsen, and it is a Heaven and Earth Designs chart. I had gotten the material pack along with it, so I am stitching on the Easy Grid Ada 18 count. When I first started filming at the beginning of the year, I had 20,000 stitches done, and I now have 27,000 stitches done. So the goal was 25, so I've since reached that goal. I've been using it for some events this month, which is why I went a little bit over. I've essentially just focused on the ocean here, on the sea, and then you can see that her head is starting to take shape. Yeah, I've already started adding some stitches to her hair as well, which is exciting. I mean, after working with just sky and and the water, it was really exciting to finally get something in there as well, to see her starting to take shape. The next project that I started on January 6th of 2019, and this is Sleeping Beauty. The Etsy shop name for that one is Stitch Fairies Treasures, I think. Yes, Stitch Fairies Treasures. I do apologize. I have a notebook here on my lap where I'll have all the information. But yes, Stitch Fairy Treasures on Etsy started on January 6th. I like this one. I like the contrast between the black and white and the colors on the flowers. For that one, the goal was to finish the page that I was currently on. And at the beginning of the year, I had only just started this top page. I had barely started doing the purple flowers. So as you can see, I've since then finished the page, and I kind of also started going towards the next one. I think I was using this for one of the challenges, the magical stitches, and so I went a little bit over for the sake of finishing that stitch count. But yeah, since I have finished the goal on both of these are going away. They'll be I mean, if I end up using it for challenge every now and then so be it, but they're not going to be a focus anymore, so I can focus on other goals like Harry Potter, like the Hogwarts castle. The next one I started is my Riolis kit. This is Lilac Evening, and I started this on February 1st of 2019, and I'm using everything that came with the kit, which is I think like 14 count, there we go. Yeah, 14 count Zygarde Ada and Anchor Floss. And I really enjoy working with it. I do enjoy working with the Anchor Floss. The Ada is really nice to work with as well. I originally wanted to go ahead and finish all the cross stitching. This does have a lot of beading on the hat, and then the flowers on top of the hat are all ribbons. But I decided that that's gonna be 2021 Alma's problem, not 2020 Alma. So far, I just wanted to focus on the stitching. At the beginning of the year, I just had her face done, and I think I was starting to work on the hat, on the inside of the hat. So as you can see, I've pretty much gotten most of the hat done. It does go by fast since it is half stitched to give it that texture of being slightly see-through. So yeah, I do want to make this a priority within the next couple of months so I can get some real progress done. The next project I started was for Mania of last year, 2019. So May 1st, I started this watercolor floral. This is by Stitchery Stitch. And I thought it was cool. I thought the gold leaves was kind of like a cool, it's something different, yeah. And I thought it went well with the roses, the flowers, the pink colors of the flowers. The goal that I gave myself was to go ahead and finish the page that I was currently on of the pattern. And as you can see, I have, well, I don't know, as you can see, because you don't know where the page breaks are, but I have finished that page. At the beginning of the year, I had finished the purple flower, I had done this blue and pink bit of the bottom, and I had just started on the leaves. So this is what I've done so far in the last 7 months. After that, I did start focusing a little bit more on my full coverage. If you've seen my videos, you know that I love full coverage designs. So the next project that I started was another Heaven and Earth Designs chart. This is Mooncharmer, Select the Size, by Aimee Stewart. And the only reason I chose the Select the Size is because it was slightly smaller than the original one. And this one I started on May 21st, May 20th of 2019. At the beginning of the year, I had 20,000 stitches done. I originally wanted to get 50,000 stitches done by the end of the year, try to double it and then some. Don't know that's going to happen now, but I do have 31,000 stitches done, so I still have 19,000 to go. So again, I don't know if I'll be able to reach the 50K goal, but it's coming along nicely. I try to vary between working on black down here and then working on the night sky over here. But it is fun to see like the stars coming out sporadically. So I do enjoy working on this quite a bit. And as you can see, it's a rather large piece. After that, I did go quite a bit of time without starting something new. And by quite a bit, I mean like 5 months. But this is the next piece that I started at the end of October 28th. This is the flowers of the alphabet, and I'm doing this a little bit differently. I'm gonna go ahead and, first of all, I used brown fabric instead of white, stitching it on white, but I'm using this as a de-stash piece. So I'm using leftover floss from other WIPs, particularly like DMC and other kits that come with floss. I always have leftovers and I don't like to, waste not, so I do try to use them up as much as I can. At the beginning of the year, I only had 12 boxes done. So as you can see, I've already finished the boxes, the 26 boxes, and I've started stitching the flowers. So I do want to finish at least 4 of those before the end of the year, 4 boxes, for flowers, I should say, but we'll see. We'll see if I can achieve that goal. After that, literally like 2 days afterwards, I started my Tilton Crafts chart. This is Wonder Woman Warrior Princess by Daniel Kordek. And I do love his patterns, and you'll see I've got a lot. Most of my Tilton crafts are Daniel Kordek designs. And for this one, I decided to go and shoot for 10,000 stitches this year. At the beginning of the year, I had 2,300, and so far I've have 8,500 stitches done. So I still have 1,500 to go. and hopefully that'll include more colors. So far it's still a lot of black and grays. I did have that purple, this bit of purple in the corner, and I'm getting lighter browns over here. So hopefully there'll be a little bit more variety in the color, but I do enjoy working on it. A few days later, on November 6th, I started another one of Daniel Kordek's designs. This is Esmeralda. If you guys watch me, then you know that I love Disney, and The Hunchback of Notre Dame is my favorite Disney movie of all time. So when I saw this design, I couldn't pass it up. And for that one, since I did start it along the same time as Wonder Woman, I gave myself the same goal. I told myself that I would shoot for 10,000 stitches this year. At the beginning of the year, I had 2,000 stitches done, and now I have 11,500 stitches. So I was using it for an event this month, which is why I went over the goal, the stitch goal. But I will go ahead. I will put it away for now. As much as I enjoy working on this, it's so many beautiful colors. I do want to focus on other pieces, so I will put it away. If, you know, I do decide to use it for a challenge here and there, then so be it. I'm not going to stop myself if I'm inspired, but I do want to focus on other pieces. A couple of weeks later, or maybe like a week later, on the 23rd of November, I did start another one, another Daniel Kordek design from Tilton Crafts. This is Snow Girl. And just like the Sleeping Beauty pattern, I love the contrast of the black and white or the grayscale, and then you have the red apple on her lips, and then of course this mark over here on her sleeve. For that one, I am using it for an event in Full Coverage Fanatics where we have to stitch 20,000 stitches in a single project this year. So I'm going to shoot for those 20K. I had 1,500 stitches done at the beginning of the year, so those don't count. But total, I have 14,600 stitches done so far. So I still have quite a bit to go on this one. I do want to make it another focus, so I can achieve those 20,000 stitches before the end of the month. This does have a border that you can't really see. It has a white border going all around it, so that is finished. So a lot of those stitches are done because of that border. It was a really quick stitch. But yeah, I do want to finish, because you do have like the outline of the apple, but I do want to go ahead and finish everything around it before adding the red colors. A couple of days later, on November 26th, I did start this Heaven Earth Designs chart. This is June by Dittmann, and I started this in honor of Zakia, Lady Wing Designs' birthday, because yellow is her favorite color, and even though it came out greenish, it does have some yellow tones in it. So yeah, so that's why I started. At least that's why I started on that particular day. But here we are. This is what I've gotten done so far. Again, just like with Esmeralda and Wonder Woman, the goal is to stitch 10,000 stitches on this, and I already have 7,000. So at the beginning of the year I had 1,300, and now I have 7,000. So I think that's this goal, at least, is very achievable. I just have to focus and not get distracted by all the other pretty patterns. Not that this one isn't pretty, this one's gorgeous. I love Dittmann. I love her designs. After that, I did want to start a quick stitch. I had a small dimensions kit that I have finished. I meant to finish it before the end of the year, but that didn't really happen. I get distracted with other pretty things. So At the beginning of the year, or I should say in my first video, I had everything that is cross-stitched. So Esmeralda, Cinderella was all done. I just needed to add the back stitching. So it only took me like another week or so to finish everything else. Again, it's a really quick stitch. I just need to give it another ironing and I can frame it, which is easy. I don't know why I haven't gone around to it. I'll set it aside so I can remember. After that, because that was in the beginning of December, I did want to start one last thing in 2019, and I was able to finish it during Mania this year. I finished it May 20th. This is called Teacup Display. It was a kit by Design Works based on the artwork by Joan Elliott. And at the beginning, like on my first video, I only had like a few flowers done here on the border. I enjoyed working on it. It wasn't necessarily to my taste, and some of the the colors were off from the model stitch, which bugged me, but it worked out in the end. Like I whined and moaned about it, but it ended up looking really nice. I loved adding the details to the flowers to make them, to give those edges that sharpness to it. And I loved working on this inside border here. This is actually what inspired me to go search for a sampler to start, which you'll see. Stay tuned. But yeah, that was a relatively quick stitch. I feel like if I would have focused on it like a lot more than I did, I probably would have finished it in a couple of months instead of 5. But oh well, it is what it is. The next piece I started was my New Year, New Start. This is Bilbo's Home by Mandarinks Designs, and I started this with the intentions of wanting to finish it by the end of the year. I don't know if that's going to be possible, since I've got 10,000 stitches done, and I think it has like 23 or 24,000 stitches total. So I'm a little under halfway done, and we're a little over halfway done with the year. But who knows, maybe if I focus on it. I feel like I'm gonna be saying that a lot in this video. Maybe if I focus on it, I can get the goals done. But I'm really enjoying working on this. I'm stitching this in hand mostly because excuse me, I think when I cut the fabric, I cut it to like the frame size that I was going to use or something, which didn't give me much fabric allowance. So that's kind of forcing me to stitch in hand. But I love the colors. She uses colors very well. It's a lot of blends, but she uses them very well. So I do enjoy working on this. After that, on January 17th, I started another full coverage pattern. Found a pattern that I found on Etsy. This is the Disney Villain Ladies by Zana Cross Stitch. When you buy the pattern, she actually gives you 4 individual PDFs, but this is the product image. This is the image that I fell in love with, so I'm stitching them all together, and it does come out to a nice square size. I think it's like 250 by 250. Originally, I wanted to go ahead and finish that first panel with the Evil Queen by the end of the year, but I don't know if that's going to be happening now, since I only have 6,000 only. I have 6,400, so 6,400 stitches done, and altogether it's 16,000. This panel alone is 16,000. So we'll see. At least I have the crown done. The crown's pretty cool. And I am working on her face. But yeah, again, as ever, if I focus on it, a lot of pretties, a lot of goals, and a lot of pretties. And I'm not gonna kill myself if I'm not able to meet my goals. At the end of the day, I'm loving working on everything, just as I am working on them. I'm not gonna punish myself if I don't meet them. But the next piece I started is actually a little another kit that I have, a gold collection dimensions kit I do apologize for the noise in the background. My boyfriend's currently on a conference call. But yeah, if I can't. I tried. I tried working around his schedule. If I can only get this video done this way, because it's a lot. And again, I was trying to film the video in Spanish as well. So again, sorry, but I can only do so much. Anyways, I really like the colors on this, the pink and the blues working together with the tone, with like the hints of green. And of course, this little bird. I love the little bird. I was like, I want to stitch that bird. So the goal that I gave myself was to finish the top half by the end of the year. And I'm almost there. I got the background done and I got the little bird done, because I knew that was going to be the first thing I wanted to stitch. So I just have to do the two teacups in the top, and then like the leaves on the yeah, the little branch or whatever it is that's hanging out by the teacups. After that, I went a little bit, because I started this in February 1st, so I went an entire month without starting something. The next piece I started is this Mystic Stitch chart, Change of Seasons, and I started this along with Zakia of Lady Wing Designs, and we started this on Leap Day. We started this on February 29th, and we had dreams of finishing it by the next Leap Day in 4 years, and we soon figured out that it was not going to happen, because it's a much larger piece than we anticipated. So we gave ourselves two leap days. So not 4 years, but 8 years. So hopefully I'll be able to get it done. But this is what I have so far. At the beginning of the first few months, I did kind of put a lot of effort into it. Right now I'm at 5,600 stitches. Oh, actually almost 6,000 stitches. So slowly but surely I'm getting there. And I did get this little needle minder. This is I think it's Magpie's minders, but I mean, it's pretty much the same image with different seasons. But yeah, that one's, you know, it's the same color, so it's iffy. Sometimes I do get bored with it, but again, just pop on a TV show or a movie and I can power through it. The next piece that I started, I did start in April 1st. This is Haku, which is a character from Spirited Away, the animated film by Ghibli Studios. And the pattern I found online, I have since not been able to find it, so I don't know if it's available anymore. But I did start this on a scrap piece of Ada that I think I was gifted it. I'm not quite sure, but it is 14 count. And this is what I have so far. The goal is to go ahead and try to finish it this year, and pretty much, because this is the entirety of the piece. It's not a really very large piece. This is, you know, the bottom edge already. So the goal is to go ahead and try to finish it. It does stitch really quick because all the background is half stitch. So yeah. So the last time I worked on this, I put in 2,000 stitches, or 1,000 full stitches if you're counting it that way. But it's 2,000 symbols, which is the only thing I care about. And the next piece I started is another dimensions kit that I had in my stash. This is I think it's officially like be brave or something like that. I just call it my Beauty and the Beast pattern, which I thought was cute, and it's a quick stitch because it's a lot of white space. But yeah, this one and Haku were the first ones that I started when this whole shelter-in-place situation started happening, so I needed to keep myself entertained. And this is what I have so far. So yeah, she does not have a face yet. I need to add her eyes, but everything else is coming along. Again, it is a fairly quick stitch because it's a lot of the same color. So all this blue is just one color. Whoops. All this blue is just one color. So there's a lot of blocks of color. And it's nice. And it goes by relatively fast. That was started on April 14th. On May 14th, I started this pattern, and this is by Yanni of Yanni Stitcher here on FlossTube and Instagram. Hi Yanni, if you're watching this. This is Katrina, and I adored this design. I originally was looking at one of her other patterns, the Mexicanita, the little Mexican girl. But then I saw this one, and so I had both. I had to have both. I haven't done much on it. I do want to focus on it in a couple of months in September, since that's Mexican Independence Day in September. I started, you can kind of see the white stitches down here, but I just want to go ahead and do everything around the border. So I want to do the paper mache flags around the border, and then the candles on the bottom as well. And then I want to leave Katrina herself for last. And I am stitching it on the beige Aida instead of using the white one. It's charted for white because the face itself with the white paint doesn't have any symbols on the white. But I just went ahead and did it on beige. I just like the way that I think it would give it a little more pop. Next piece I started, this was my official mania start, even though I started on May 21st. This is Mini Midnight Stroll by Julie Fain. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs chart. And she does a lot of these kinds of pieces. She does like a lot of silhouettes against full moons. I love this one because of the colors. I love all those purple shades. And I'm stitching this along with Tess from Tess Stitches. And the only reason she was on board was because of all those pretty purples as well. But this is what I have so far. And my notes say that I have 4,000 stitches done so far. I am stitching this as a gift for my goddaughter. So I wanted to go big and try to shoot for 25,000 stitches this year, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Since again, I've only done 4,000 stitches. But the pattern lends itself to stitching it color by color. So I started with 939. This is actually, it's not black. It probably looks black, but it's not. It's 939, and now I'm working on the second color, which is the first purple, the first shade of purple you get. But yeah, hopefully I get to give that to my goddaughter before she's, graduating college. She's only 2.5, so. But yeah, I love working on that pattern. The next piece that I started was another one of my Dimensions kits. Again, this was when the shelter in place was really in place. So I started working on a lot of things that I already had, as opposed to trying to go out and buy things. But this is the Mason Jar lineup by Dimensions. It's a fairly popular pattern. I'm sure some of you have seen it. I've always liked it. And for a while it was really hard to find. So when I did find it, I was able to I got it. And I don't have that much to show because I actually had to restart this several times. It was really frustrating. So I literally have like 5 stitches done. I don't know why I'm even showing you this, but yeah, I had to frog it because I miscounted, and I kept doing that over and over again. But there it is. I will go ahead and work on it some more. Try to get at least one of the jars done before the end of the year. A couple days later, on the 24th, a lot of people on Instagram and FlossTube started taking up Carolyn Manning designs. It's actually part of a sal. I think it's Manic Manning Sal 2020. So I picked one of her patterns and joined in. This is Sea Glass, and I couldn't pass up the teals. I fell in love with those teal colors. So yeah, I was happy to join in once I found that one. And I only have 1,000 stitches in. This is what I've gotten done so far, but it is a really quick stitch because it's just same shapes over and over again. Like before you know it, you've done, you know, 300 stitches. But I do enjoy the colors. So I didn't really give myself, since this was kind of like a surprise start, I wasn't really planning on it. The FOMO was real. I'm not giving myself any particular goals on it. I'm just gonna stitch it as, you know, the mojo dictates, which is fine. I mean, again, if I have goals, I feel like if I had goals for all of my pieces, then I would just get even more stressed out about not meeting them. On June 2nd, Zakia of Lady Wing Designs and Claire of Beautiful Clarity started a sal called Relentless Love. We started this, and I don't have the product image for it, which is unfortunate because it really does make the pattern. This pattern is all, it was released in commemoration of when same-sex marriage was legalized. So it's, you know, it's we started this for Pride Month, and I am gonna give it to a friend of mine that is gay, and it's all colorful. It's all the pretty colors, but unfortunately I've only done the outline so far. I'd like to finish the outline before the end of the month or the end of the year, because that's pretty much like almost a quarter of it. It's not that big of a design. It's more than a quarter actually, but yeah, it's an easy quick stitch. I actually had to, I take that back. I had to frog this like 4 times. But that's what happens when you zoom. When I try to I try to stitch and zoom at the same time. The next one I started on June 13th. It's another one of my full coverage designs, Heaven and Earth Designs. This one is by Joan Marie. And again, I feel like this is also a pretty popular design. This is Mini Soaring Free 2. I think the first one has like a woman. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a woman. And she's kind of spreading out her arms, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. But this is the first one that I wanted to try out on 25 count instead of the 18 count that I normally use. So I did go ahead and get the gridded one, which again is a lifesaver. But is this right? No, it's this one. I think I showed it wrong on my first one. Oops. Oh well. I only have 800 stitches done in this one, which again, 25 count is so small. But there it is. It's, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares. I'm trying doing the parking method with this one, but I don't know if I'll stick to it. It hasn't really been my jam so far, and I'm only trying it because it was my way of trying to adapt to the 25 count, because the stitches were so tiny that confetti stitches were harder to see. So I thought, okay, with parking at least it'll be harder to miss, even though Pattern Keeper also helps with that. The next week, on June 24th, I started July to go along with June. Anna Dittmann's artwork from Heaven and Earth Designs chart. I started this in honor of Tess, from Tess Stitches' birthday. again, we both love purple. And so she started, I believe she started June on my birthday this year, and then we both started July on her birthday, which is lovely. But unfortunately I started with white. So here's what I have. I swear to you, this has 1400 stitches in, whether you believe it or not. Yeah, I'd like to get at least a page finish on this one, but this is what I have so far. Again, it's all white, nothing too, and it is just like with June, it's a fairly big pattern. I think June was just slightly smaller. They're not the same size. I think June's slightly smaller than this one. The next piece that I started is a pattern from Up to Cross Stitch from Etsy. This is, if you're familiar with the game World of Warcraft, you'll recognize this emblem. This is the Horde symbol, the Horde flag, which the game has like the good guys and the bad guys. This is the bad guys symbol. You know, when you create characters for the game, you have the choice of working with as a good guy, alliance, or part of the Horde, bad guy. And I'm trying to, I do have it. I just filmed my second one. No, okay. It was hiding under another wreath. Please hold. Okay. Okay. Sorry, technical difficulties. But here's what I have so far. Yeah, I think this is how it goes. It might be backwards. It might be this way. I'm pretty sure this is right though. I only have like 300 stitches in, but I do want to finish this because, you know, we both like it. I started it on the 28th. I started it on his birthday, so I do want to finish it as soon as possible so that I can at least have something to hang on my walls. Shortly after that, I did start another small piece. This is from Oh My Stitches shop, and this is from a TV show called Rick and Morty. This is gonna be a birthday gift for a mutual friend of ours, because we all love the show. So his birthday's in September, so I really have to get cracking on this because this is all I have. I think I put in like 170 stitches, 150 stitches on it, and then that's it. So I really do have, like, I know I've said that a few times in this video, but I really do have to make this a priority so I can get that done and framed before September rolls around. Once I started that one, I did go back to my regular charts, my regular go-tos. I started Tea, and this is by, again, Anna Dittmann. You see a pattern here. Heaven Earth Designs. And for those of you that aren't familiar, this is Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes. He plays Sherlock Holmes in the BBC series that came out maybe like 10 years ago now. It's a lot. But then they only release a new series like every 2 years. They're super slow. They like to torture us. But this is what I have so far. And I started this on the bottom left corner instead of the top left corner because it doesn't have, she uses a lot of watercolor effects, but this doesn't actually have much of a background besides the blues. So there's no bright edge. I would have had to count further in to reach like the tip of his head or the blues that are around his head. So I instead chose to go ahead and start on the bottom left corner, so I had a nice straight edge to work with. But yeah, I'm really excited to keep working on this. Again, this is one of the instances where I started experimenting with parking. But we'll see if I keep going. It's unclear. After that, on July 3rd, I started another small, it's 130 by 130, but it's by 2 by 2 stitch art. And I call this galaxy flowers. The products don't have actual names, she just describes them, so I kind of just baptized it as galaxy flowers. And I am stitching this along with a fellow cross stitcher, Seashell Stitches, here on our, I think she's on FlossTube. I know she has an Instagram, but I just have the one flower done. It is, but this little flower is 400 stitches. So it's a start. I thought it was a start, and I think that's how I'm gonna do it. I think I'll just, every time I pick it up, I'll go ahead and finish one more flower until I eventually finish everything. And again, it should go by quick because there's a lot of empty space. Like, it's 130 by 130, but there's a lot of black space to allow for the fabric to show through. Okay, yeah. And then after that, where is it? This is not, oh, I actually don't have the product image for this. I did start the Time to Stitch mystery style from Lakeside Needlecrafts. The design itself is by Maria Diaz, and all I have for that one is because they only release it bit by bit, so I don't actually have the finished pattern to show. So this is what I have done so far. The first part that they showed was a mantle top clock, which for me was like sold. That was what they used for the sneak preview, so I was like, I need this. So I've done most of it. I do want to go ahead and try to finish it before the next part releases on August 1st. It's a 12-part series. It's going to be a year-long series. Each part is going to release on the 1st of the month. I don't think I'll be able to get caught up, but I at least want to, you know, make efforts. Once I started that, I started another full coverage piece. It's, I mean, it's obviously my niche, but this is The Eternal Promise by Matt Stewart. And these are the characters Aragorn and Arwen from Lord of the Rings. It's a fairly not common, but popular image or project. But it is a very, very ambitious project. It's one of my largest projects. I had to buy a yard of the 25 count easy guide or easy grid fabric just to make sure that I had enough for this project. So this is what I have so far. Here we go. And believe it or not, this is 1200 stitches. Tiny, tiny, but there they are. And I think I'm gonna, I don't know, because I tried going grid by grid, but I couldn't. Again, this is when I started realizing that parking may not be my thing. Because yeah, it's I don't know, I'm still not comfortable with jumping around as much. But that piece is going to be for my twin. I am stitching it for her, and this is what I started for me. This is going to be my first Mirabilia. This is Portrait of Veronica. I had a false start. I did intend to start her back in March, but I didn't have the right fabric for her, so I kind of had to, like, you know, change accordingly, because I had 18 count and this does have a lot of beads, so the beading would have been almost impossible to do on the 18 count. And so this is quite different from anything I've done. I did get a dyed fabric for it. I got this nice turquoise color with the gradient going to like a beige at the bottom, which I think will work really nicely with her dress. But this is an even weave. This is also my first time working on even weave. And that was my start. I did start this along with Vicky from Reading and Stitching here on FlossTube. And she's also on Instagram. So she already had this pattern in her stash, so when I mentioned that I was gonna start it, she was like, "Oh, I'll go ahead and start it with you," which is really nice. So we're both slowly but surely working our way through it. She's got a ton of other projects, but I'm really looking forward to working with her. It took a little bit of getting used to the even weave, but it's a really nice stitch. Like, I'm really enjoying it. After that, I went back to my regular coverage. I started another Tilton Crafts chart. This is Till Death Do Us Part by Daniel Kordek, based on the animated movie Corpse Bride, which is one of my favorites. Loved Tim Burton, loved Night Before Christmas, and I loved Corpse Bride. And this was actually a gift from Slub Lover Stitches, Candice. So we both started on the same day. We're stitching it along with each other. And I mean, as you can see from the pattern, there's a lot of black. So I put in 1,000 stitches, but it was mostly on the background, the black background. It was 800 black stitches, and then this is 931, so it's like pretty much the equivalent of black. This is the first squiggly line of the frame that goes all along the image. So yeah, again, this is a nice piece to work on when I'm, like, you know, watching TV, or if I'm zooming with friends. Again, I don't have to focus that much because it's a lot of black. After that, I started my first sampler. Ever. And I started this in honor of a fellow stitcher from Virtual Stitchers, Laurel. It was her birthday, and I saw this on her FlossTube. So I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and start it on the birthday. And actually, I think I started like the day after or something, because the fabric didn't come in on time. But this is a 3 Things sampler by Moira Blackburn. And it says, 3 things there are that will never come back. The arrow shot forth on its destined track, the appointed hour that could not wait, and the helpful word that was spoken too late. Which I thought was a beautiful sentiment. So that's why I chose it. Again, I've never done anything like it before. And where is it? And I don't have that much done either. I only started on the border. But I do want to go ahead and just move along this now, because I know that some people like to just work the borders first, but I don't wanna. I'll go ahead and just finish this, whatever's on, like, this space, and then just move along. So yeah, so I'm excited. I got both the Time to Stitch style and these are stitched on Cappuccino Froth by Fiona from Fiona's Cottage. It's a really nice item to stitch with. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoying every single aspect of it, from the fabric to the colors and just the stitch itself. It's very different from what I'm used to, obviously. Next one I started, let's see here, on the 17th, the day after. I started things left and right, guys. This is Fractal Energy by Nathan Smith. This is another Tilton Crafts chart, and it's a bit different from what I normally do, but I loved that that image, that stone in the center. I thought it was really cool, so I just went ahead and got it. But again, lots of dark colors in the background, so I put in 1,000 stitches, but it was all done on I think this was 823, which was like a really, or 9, I think it was 939. It was like really dark blue. But yeah, there's 1,000 stitches in there, whether you believe it or not. Again, it's a good piece to work on when I'm doing something else. And last, but certainly not least, the last piece I've started is another one of Daniel Kordek's designs from Tilton Crafts. This is the Cinderella piece based on the live action remake that was done in 2015. And I've always loved that movie. That's been my favorite remake so far that they've done. So I wanted to go ahead and stitch it up. And again, I put in 1,000 stitches on this. And at least it's blue. I think it was 823 or 820. So yeah, I'm really gonna like, I think I really am gonna like to work on this because the background itself is also really colorful. Yeah, that particular project is just going to be for fun. Like, I don't have necessarily any particular goals in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Again, I counted, and if I counted correctly, it's going to be 35 current WIPs. So yeah, it's a lot. But again, I just enjoy everything, you know. I do plan on participating in a No New Starts 2021 event next year, so we'll see how much I can hold out for without giving in to temptation. But yeah, it's definitely been a journey. I do want to get at least one more finish. I would like to finish Haku because that's a really quick stitch, and at least try to meet some of my other goals that are relatively close to being done. Like with June, I only have 3,000 more stitches to go, and the dimensions kit, the teacup display, which I also just need to do the 2 teacups, and then that's it. I'll be done with, at least I'll meet the goal that I set myself for this year. But yeah, if you've made it this far, then thank you very much for joining. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions regarding anything you saw, feel free to drop a line. I will go ahead and try to type up a list of everything, so I can have the designer's name and the pattern name for you to have. If I forget to do that, then please go ahead and drop a comment, let me know, and I can get that information to you. But yeah, we'll see how much I get done for the rest of the year. I may do another WIP parade at the end of the year, just to, you know, for posterity's sake, to have a record of what I did in the span of 2020. But we'll see. So yeah, I don't think I'll be able to. I know if you watched my regular FlossTube, I know I mentioned that I may film tomorrow, but at this point, I've already showed everything I've done with. Whatever stitching I get done today isn't going to be that significant. So yeah, so I think I'll just let this stand in for my regular FlossTube video for this week. So yeah, again, thank you for joining, and until next time, happy stitching, guys. Bye.